Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Roach Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our video. Right before the college football season begins, Alabama football gets some bad news. Jam Miller, the perceived starting running back for Alabama football, has suffered a dislocated collarbone, and it looks like he's going to miss around 6 to 8 weeks estimated recovery time, and then he should be back out there on the field. The good news is that means he's not going to be out for the entire season if that is the case, because of the fact that around October, maybe early November, he'll be back, and that's usually, around when playoff time's starting to come around the corner, the end of the season's coming around the corner. Got to get some key wins to be able to make the playoffs. If you're in the case of Alabama, especially if they already have a loss or two, you got to win out the rest of the way. Jam Miller should be back by then. But the problem is that Jam Miller was supposed to, again, be Alabama's starting running back, and now they're not going to have him for the beginning of the season. Now, the good thing is that Alabama being the type program that they are, they've always had incredible depth at running back, and they do have two running backs that probably could be starters on most other college football teams across the country. Richard Young and Daniel Hill are both quality running backs. And I've even seen a lot of Bama Nation calling for Richard Young to even be the starting running back this season over Jam Miller when healthy. So that is really good news for Alabama. I think that all of these running backs bring their own things to the table, bring their own dynamics to the table. Richard Young is a younger guy. He's just been bursting to play. He was behind Jam Miller and Justice Haynes last season, but still got a decent amount of snaps, all things considered, especially considering he was a redshirt freshman. So he's definitely a guy that I believe is ready to play. And Daniel Hill hasn't really played much at all, but still a guy that has a lot of talent. Alabama's always getting 4-star, 5-star running backs, and these guys have great pedigree. So I do believe, along with Dre Washington, he is a fourth-string guy that will now be slotting probably into the third-string role since Jam Miller's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. He might be able to help out a little bit in the running back room, but all in all, this is just unfortunate news for Alabama because we already know that this season the quarterback room is not the strongest for Alabama right now. Maybe in the future it will be once Ty Simpson is, the starting quarterback and he gets more and more involved in the offense with reps day by day, improving day by day. And eventually, maybe we'll be able to go out there and be one of the better quarterbacks in college football if he can start to, get comfortable becoming the new starting quarterback of Alabama football. I mean, he always been before was a second stringer or a third stringer. It's a whole lot different being the starter. And you got Keelan Russell, a true freshman with tons of talent. But Ty Simpson, it was just announced that he won the job. So it's his job. Keelan Russell's going to probably be the second string. You've also had Austin Mack as well. But that's not a whole lot of confidence for Alabama at the quarterback position unless Ty Simpson ends up going out there and having a lot of success because you never want to start a true freshman. Tennessee didn't do it with Nico Iamaleava. I wouldn't probably do it with Keelan Russell, even though I was very high on Keelan Russell possibly starting. Alabama, is going in that direction with Ty Simpson. So you want that experience at running back, and that's what Jam Miller would have provided. Ryan Williams is incredible. You've got Journey Bernard at wide receiver as well. You've also got Isaiah Horton, the Miami transfer. So Alabama is doing good on offense overall. You look at the offensive line room, the O-line room. They brought in a couple of transfers, have some experience coming back. They just need some more consistency out of some guys, especially Caden Proctor, to really get that offensive line room close to back to where it was when Alabama was in their championship window under Nick Saban from 2009 to 2020. Their offensive lines almost every single year through that stretch was incredible. Since then, it has dropped off the end of the Saban era and now the beginning of the DeBoer era. It just hasn't been as good. So Alabama needs more consistency out of the offensive line, which some people believe that Alabama's O-line will be better. The tight end room, not really anybody stand out, but they've got some quality guys. But Alabama, the bell cow back was supposed to be Jam Miller. He was probably the second highest perceived offensive player for Alabama this season behind Ryan Williams. He was good last year despite being underutilized, I felt. That's a big reason I felt Justice Haynes left for Michigan besides NIL was the fact that he wasn't getting enough snaps. So Jam Miller, I wanted to see more snaps from him this year. I wanted to see him get the ball more. And it really sucks that unfortunately he now has this collarbone injury, especially considering he's been, frankly, pretty healthy his entire career. That's just a major setback. It's not the end of the world for Alabama. This does not mean that Alabama suddenly, drops from a top 10 team down to, top 15 to 20 range, or, second or third best team in the SEC down to like fifth or sixth. Alabama's going to be fine. This is not the end of the world. I've seen people being really upset, even some panicking on social media. Again, we've got Richard Young. We've got Daniel Hill. Richard Young is a really quality back, and this might actually end up working out for Alabama in the long run. You never want to, say that an injury is a good thing, but when you're looking at, in this case, a guy like Richard Young, who is so talented, so young, if he can go out there and have a lot of success in Jam Miller's absence, and then Jam Miller can come back, then you could have that double tandem with both those guys at the end of the season and make Alabama a stronger, more talented offensive team overall, instead of it being maybe Jam Miller would have stole the show and then Richard Young wouldn't have got a lot of snaps, so you wouldn't be able to utilize that. So you always try to find the positives here. It is a tough blow for Alabama. This hurts. This makes Alabama worse right now, but maybe in the future it could end up being a good thing for Alabama if Jam Miller can come back and then him and Richard Young can have a lot of success. Definitely need Richard Young to stay healthy. Daniel Hill is a good back as well, but you don't need another injury. It would really make Alabama's running back room a little bit stretched, especially considering an experienced quarterback in Ty Simpson. Even though he's an older guy, has not played a lot, you want to have that bell cow back next to Ty Simpson. I think Richard Young can fill in the shoes. I think he's going to do a good job. But a tough blow for Alabama for Jam Miller, but definitely not the end of the world. It's not, the sky's not falling for Alabama. Things are still going to be okay. Definitely, again, unfortunate. You never want to see injuries, but maybe in the long run, by the end of the season, if Richard Young does well, this could end up being positive for Alabama if you get that 1-2 tandem with Jam Miller and Richard Young once Miller comes back from his injury. But like this video down below, subscribe to the channel if you want more sports content. Definitely give me your thoughts down below, how you feel about Jam Miller's injury, whether you think it's the sky's falling for Alabama or whether you feel Alabama will be fine in the meantime until he's able to return. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I'll see you next time.